We finally got the answers to 10 burning questions from Star Wars Episode 9, including the big one, who did Palpatine Earlier this week, advanced copies of the Rise of Skywalker's novelization by Ray Carson made their debut at C2E2, and no, that isn't the name for a new Star Wars droid, it's Chicago's Comic and Entertainment Expo. The book offers an expanded view of the story which is told in Star Wars Episode 9. In fact, we did some reporting on it earlier this week that confirmed the theory that Emperor Palpatine was, spoiler alert, a clone.
That's why I'm here.
But thanks to fans on the internet who've gotten their hands on early copies of the novel, so many other details are coming to light. Details that answer a ton of other questions we had long after the credits rolled on the Skywalker Saga. And now we're gonna break them all down after we give another little spoiler warning for the Rise of Skywalker's novelization. So if you're sticking around, please toss us a like and subscribe. If not, get out of here! Make like Chewie and explode. I'm sorry, please don't explode.
You hurt Chewie, you're gonna deal with me!
It's also worth noting that we don't have a copy of the book just yet because the official release date is on March 17th, so technically these facts are unconfirmed by us as of now. But with so many corroborating reports online about the book's contents, there's very little reason to doubt these things. So let's get into the biggest question we keep coming back to. Who did Sheev Palpatine He's Rey's grandfather, yes, which means he had a kid and that kid had a Rey. So who did Sheev smash? Well, it turns out nobody. Well, I don't know. I guess we can't confirm that Palps never smashed, but he probably didn't. I mean, he probably didn't. But at least when it came to having a son, he didn't do things the old-fashioned way. It was all cloning, baby, just like Jango and his son/clone/terrible bounty hunter, Boba Fett.
Yep.
And honestly, Palpatine creating a clone son of his very own is the least disturbing of these possibilities. Now, the novel recounts that Palpatine, in his quest to live forever, created clones, and his son was a perfect-bodied clone who Palpatine basically wrote off because the clone wasn't Force-sensitive, just regular sensitive, because daddy issues, cloning, I mean, look, they're the two pillars of the Star Wars universe.
Yep.
And speaking of clones, we previously reported on the fact that Palpatine in The Rise of Skywalker was an imperfect clone. But it still left us with one question. How the hell did he survive getting shafted, not like that, on the Death Star too? Well, thanks to the book, we've got the answer. Which means it's time for another dramatic reading. Falling down a massive shaft. The betrayal sharp and stinging. A figure high above, black-clad and helmeted, and shrinking fast. His very own apprentice had turned against him, the way he himself had turned against Plagueis, whose secret to immortality he had stolen. Stolen secret to immortality? Folks, it sounds like we're finally gonna get a glimpse at some of those abilities that some would consider unnatural. Now the book continues. Plagueis had not acted fast enough in his own moment of death, but Sidious, sensing the flickering light in his apprentice, had been ready for years. So the falling, dying Emperor called on all the dark power of the Force to thrust his consciousness far, far away to a secret place he had been preparing. His body was dead, an empty vessel, long before it found the bottom of the shaft, and his mind jolted to new awareness in a new body, a painful one, a temporary one. So the whole Palpatine plot from The Rise of Skywalker seems to be a direct homage to the old expanded universe, specifically the Dark Empire comic book series. Now, you know what Palpatine was doing when he was transferring his essence to his clones? He was hiding himself on a dark side planet. He had a fleet of new starships that also included planet killers. You get what I'm saying. He basically just LARPed the Dark Horse comics. But enough about Sheev, there's plenty of other things we learned as well, like the fact that Rey and Ben Solo's kiss was one of gratitude. You know, that classic way of thanking someone like Luke and Leia did in Empire, except in this case, it literally killed one of them. But for those disappointed that the kiss seemingly had all elements of romance removed, looking at you, Reylos, we should note that some readers who got advanced copies do say the rest of Kylo and Rey's interactions have plenty of romantic tension. And we also learned their last words, or rather Ben's last word to Rey after his death. It was, "I will always be with you," which is, it's a very Ben Kenobi thing of him to do.
The Force will be with you, always.
Rather than a Kylo Ben.
No, you're still holding on! Let go!
Now, another sticking point with fans also finally got revealed. We got confirmation at long last that Finn is, yes,
Force sensitive. Now this seemed like a foregone conclusion, but with the film seemingly going out of its way to not answer it definitively, we'll take it written down on paper as proof. Now we also learned why Kylo Ren has his helmet rebuilt. Turns out he's really into the Japanese art of kintsugi. Also, it's just a Knight of Ren thing. They just really like their helmets. They just like fancy headwear. When they're playing an RPG, they never toggle the helmet thing off during cutscenes. All helmet, all the time. And we expect to see more details of the Knights of Ren in Charles Soule's Kylo Ren comic series. Now we also learned that Rey was already in the process of building that yellow lightsaber that we saw teased at the end of the film. And if you thought that her suddenly knowing all about Force healing came out of nowhere, well, guess what? The book reveals that she learned the basics of Force healing when she heals the Kyber crystals in the Skywalker lightsaber, which happened conveniently off screen. And to end things on a couple of downers, we learned that Luke's Force Ghost was still in contact with Leia after his physical form faded away in The Last Jedi, which is just such a, I don't know, it's just like a real heartbreaker. Also, there is concrete confirmation that the First Order specifically targeted the children of rebellion leaders, and Lando Calrissian's daughter was in fact kidnapped by them. However, that said, things are still left vague if former Stormtrooper Janna is indeed Lando's daughter, as fans had theorized. Now, all in all, it's good to finally get some of the answers we've been looking for, even if they aren't exactly the happiest answers we could have hoped for. But who knows, there might be even more answers buried in this sacred text! We'll just have to wait for it to hit store shelves on March 17th. But what do you folks think? Which of these answers were you most hoping for? Are there any other questions that you still have lingering that you hope are answered by this novel? And seriously, were you like relieved when you found out that Sheev didn't smash, he just multiplied?
Yep.
Also, does that mean he's Rey's dad?
Yep.
And grandfather?
Yep.
Let's discuss. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, why not give us a like and subscribe? And if you want to get notified every time we go live with a new show, or drop a new video, or keep talking about Sheev doing the McDirty, feel free to mash that little bell. That way you can be up to date on all the latest theories, news, and rumors in the pop culture world. Do it!